What's cracking, everybody? How you doing? You can follow along on all Disruption Network social media platforms. It is EC Radio. We're talking animals for animals today. It's going down the 14th annual Animal Jam, brought to you in part by a good friend, Rich Masucci. But we'll get into all that. But before we get into all that, we got to give love to the sponsors. If not for the sponsors, this podcast isn't possible. Shout out to EJA Moving Services, the professional movers. When you're ready to move and relocate, when you're ready to move your zoo, your studio, your gym equipment, anything. They'll move pretty much anything. Give them a call today at 315-335-0516, ejamoving.com. Shout out to Joey's at 307. That's 307 Mohawk Street. You want a good meal this week, give them a call at 315-864-3527. It's the only way you're getting a table nowadays over there because they are packed. They're packing them in each and every day, and they also have liquor now. So if you want to go have a great meal, booze it up a little bit, go see my good friend Matt Grabsky. You can hit him up at 315-864-3527. Shout out to Utica Coffee. What are we drinking, Ray? What is this again?
Columbia Supremo?
Yes, Columbia Supremo. It's really good, too. I think I had 2 sips, and I've already turned into cornholio.
Yeah.
I'm flying today. But wakethehellup.com is where you can find them online. Utica Coffee puts out some really, really good product. They got some really cool merchandise. Wakethehellup.com. Shout out to my attorney, Dave Longaretta. Has been keeping me out of trouble since the early 90s. Give him a call today if you need legal advice. If he can keep me out of trouble, he can keep you out of trouble as well. 315-735-6162. Thank you to Saranac Brewery. Under Too Long is a great book by Billy the Liquor Guy. It's a story about undercover agents infiltrating the bad guys. And you can find it on Amazon or wherever you get your books. It's called Under Too Long. Billy's a hoot, man. In fact, we're going to be doing a book signing at Peter's Cornucopia this Saturday at the one in New Hartford, Shopping Center. So if you want to come out, meet Billy the Liquor Guy, come on out at about 11 a.m. He's going to be doing a book signing. We're going to be going live on his Facebook page as well. So also a big shout out to Ballsy, ballwash.com. Use promo code members only for a 15% discount. And I feel like my guest today, Mr. Ray Caro from Motorlord, can use some ball wash in his life.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, a little charcoal action, scrub it right down.
Walk around with like freaking menthol feeling.
No, it doesn't actually have the menthol feeling. Like, you know how, what is it? Gold Bond is what I'm thinking of. It's nothing like Gold Bond at all.
Oof.
It's nothing like it. Because sometimes if you put Gold Bond on, you put a little too much, you get that feeling, and it could be a little too much activation going on down there.
Yeah.
The ball wash and sack spray and nut rub, they all don't have that. And the nut rub is fantastic. I swear by it. I use it every day. Every day. No chafing, no sweating down below, and my dick smells forest fresh. Every day. I got the best smelling dick in Utica. I'm serious.
That's funny. That is funny. I can't bend that far to find out. So
Motorlord in the house, man. I love seeing you guys here. Well, just you. Good. And Ian's on, so shout out to Ian and the rest of the Motorlord guys. You guys are going to be participating in the Animal Jam. Rise Up, right? Is that what it's called? Rise Up Animal Jam? I should have the information.
The Animals for Animals. Yeah.
Animals for Animals. You've played a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
You've played a few of them.
Yeah, we played a few times. It's always a great cause, you know.
Yeah.
Where I work, I know for the Humane Society, we've been donating there since, 94. So it's a great cause, you know.
It is. And they don't have any government funding whatsoever.
No. Only what we do in the community.
Only what we do in the community, exactly. Right. So they have like the Wiggle Waggle Walkathon. They do that every year. They do their golf tournament.
Yeah.
They do the telethon, which is a lot of fun when we go to the telethon because they get all the musicians together and present the check that we made from Animal Jam.
Yep.
And we all go hang out in the green room and eat all their food.
Yeah.
And we just cause a ruckus. And they always save us for last. They always put us on the televised broadcast last.
Well, you're the headliners for the thing. You know,
I like looking at
that's
that.
how it is. You're the headliners. You're going to bring a lot of people in for a great bang at the end, you know?
I was thinking they were putting the bad kids at the end. We'll save the bad kids for last. But you know what, man? We have gone to that telethon so many years, and we've presented more money than some of these freaking banks.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of a shame. They should be ashamed of themselves that these musicians, who none of them pretty much, I mean, come on. We're not we don't make any money whatsoever.
No, it's true.
Playing music or whatever, but it's just ridiculous.
It is.
They should be coming to the table with tens of thousands of dollars for Stephen Swan Humane Society, especially since we've been on lockdown for a whole year.
Listen, the rich don't like to spend their money, you know. But if you look throughout history, you'll see it's always the musicians that are out there raising funds for schoolings and poorer sections and stuff, or raising any type of awareness for any type of event. We're really good at getting the community together and involved.
Yeah, exactly. I should be putting up animals. There it is. I got it right in front. Now I have the information in front of me, so I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going on next weekend. I had this band on last week. I don't know if you caught the kids on. They're called Filled to the Brim.
I caught a tail segment of them.
All high school kids.
Yeah.
That are eager and ready to play.
It's the next wave.
I love that. And that's what I love about Masucci, too, because Masucci is always opening the doors to these young kids. I don't even know how he finds them.
You know what I like is, he doesn't just lock it into like one type of genre when he puts these events together. One of the Animal Jams with the wrestlers came out and stuff. We've had some rap music up there and stuff. You just open it up to the entire community, get everybody involved. And it's almost like when the last time we were on, we were talking about, trying to get back to those old festival type things. You just bring everybody in. Everyone, can bring what they can into the event, and spread some music and love,
He's got a solid lineup this year, too.
He does.
Solid
Great
lineup.
bands. Yeah.
So it starts Friday, October 15th, next week at 12 North Swarsboro. I should mention it's at 12 North.
12 North in Marcy, New York, because I know when we were sending this out, a lot of people, where is it located? Marcy, New York.
Mulvaney Road. Mulvaney Road. That's how you say it, Mulvaney Road. But it kicks off at 5 o'clock with Filled to the Brim, which was the kids that I had on last week. Great kids. Awesome. They're eager to play. They've only played like maybe 5 or 6 shows. They only have 5 or 6 shows under their belt. So, also, One Man, the Band. That goes on at 6. Uncle Charlie and the Meatballs, good friends of mine. They'll be on at 7. My good friends, Beside the Sun. I love Beside the Sun, one of my favorite local bands. Those guys kick ass. The legendary band, The Bomb. The Bomb's been playing for, 20 years? 20-plus years? That. It's over 20 years now. Those guys have been killing it.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Great show.
Great band. Always high energy. They bring a great party.
Oh, yeah.
And then our good friends, Dying Breed. They're playing. And
awesome guys.
And then you guys are, headlining that show.
Yeah, we're just closing it up for the night.
Yeah. 11:30, you guys go on.
Yeah.
Right after Dying Breed. You get about an hour slot, maybe 45 minutes
45 minutes, I think it was. Yeah.
Do you guys have a full set?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah, you do. Do you guys do covers?
Right now, we have one that we do, but we don't really play it out. That's something we're entertaining right now. If we're going that direction or not, do something that we like, change it up a little bit, make it sound like us. But for the most part, all original.
Awesome. And then Saturday, he's really stacked up too. Dan Phillips, Chad Elford. Chad Elford used to play in Enemy Down. Lemon Law. I'm not familiar with Lemon Law, so Masucci, if you can chime in and let me know about Lemon Law, I'd love to hear what they're all about. The Lower Topla, they're a great band. Pepper on the Salad. Pepper on the Salad, huh? I wanna know what those guys are about. And Lemon Law. Mythoria, awesome band. And then the return of Tribal Law. Were you able to check out Tribal Law back in their heyday?
I want to say we probably did a show with them before. Not as Motorlord, though. Your place.
At
I want to
the
say.
EC?
Yeah. I want to say we did.
Tribal Law was a staple at the EC for many years.
Yeah.
And then they kind of fizzled out and went their own way and kind of just disbanded, I guess.
I think we have a shirt with them.
Now, who were you playing with?
At that time, it would either have been Wish Pool or Molly's Attic or DNR.
Do Not Resuscitate.
Do Not Resuscitate, yeah. One of those. But I remember Tribal Law being there because I remember getting
Wish
into them.
Pool.
Oh, yeah. That's got Dangler was in there.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I remember that because we did a couple of Friday nights, and where we worked, we were all happened to be on second shift, and I remember them getting the night closed out early enough so all our crew can come down to the show. I remember you coming up to us, oh my God, you guys packed the place, They want to get us drunk,
But what a great lineup he has this year, man, and I'm looking forward to it. So the order of the day, people, is go out and support Animal Jam. They're calling it Animal Rise, the 14th Animal. Yeah. For animals' benefit, to benefit Anita Stephen Swan Humane Society. That's going on next week, man. I'm so looking forward to it. He always does a great job. We've raised like $70,000, if not more, in the past 14 years.
Yeah, and it's a great cause. And, a lot of us, depending on where you work, some of you out there, just as a reminder, heads up, you might be able to get some grant from your employer. Because this is a nonprofit organization, and you look into it. You're coming out and volunteering your time and services. See what you can do and kick out from your companies. Yeah,
exactly. So Masucci's checking in and saying Lemon Law is a punk band. feel like the punk scene in Utica has diminished. There used to be a bunch. Remember, like 607 and
I want to say there's a little bit of a rise up because I'm getting a lot of feeds on my the Utica Rome Facebook page. The punk page is out there, and there's a lot of stuff, and they constantly put out different names and places they're playing. And one thing I do like about their whole concept is, they're not necessarily going to establish venues and stuff. They're doing like quick upstart venues for the night or two, and packing places,
Yeah.
And and we talked about this before, especially with the COVID thing. A lot of places kind of shut down or had to change what they do just to survive. And so seeing some of these upstart places, that's awesome,
And then he's saying pepper on the salad is Austin Evanchuk's new Dave Bandage. What does that mean? I think the COVID is really affecting Masucci's brain today because Dave Bandage does not play music, and now Dave Bandage is checking in. And he goes, "Masucci has summoned me." I don't know, but yeah, he summoned you to go to Animal Jam next weekend over at 12 North Sports Bar.
Oh yeah.
And Ian's hopped on. Thank you, Ian. Good to hear from you. Ian, I got to thank you, man, for all the support you've given me. He's on every day.
Yeah.
He's like one of the biggest fans that we have here and on the Disruption Network, and he's been super supportive. So thank you to Ian and all the support that he's been giving me. All you guys, man. The whole Motorlord clan, man. You guys have been super supportive in all that we're doing. But he's saying DNR, baby. Was he in DNR with you?
Yeah, he was in DNR, yeah.
It was, So who else was in that band?
Let's see. It was he and I, and the two main drummers at one point was Scott Butterworth, who has passed on, phenomenal drummer, and Tony Montalbano. But that was a great time. Right before the whole return of that new wave of traditional heavy metal was coming out, we were out there on the beginning cusp of all that with that band.
Yeah. We're back live on Facebook, too, by the way. Facebook was shut down for a little while, and I think all the kids had a conniption.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think it went down yesterday or something like that.
I wish it would stay down for a while, please, so everybody can get back to reality instead of, like, cyber reality.
Yeah, now it came back, and you get all these different prompts popping up and all these different things. Listen, they want to get your info.
Yeah. I got to give a shout-out to Fallen Angel, who was on the show yesterday. They haven't been a band in years, but we had a great conversation, and looking forward to chopping it up with them, too. If you guys want to see that conversation I had with Fallen Angel, you can go to our YouTube page. Subscribe to our YouTube page. We're trying to get the YouTube page numbers up because of Facebook's sucks pretty much. Facebook does suck. So what happens in Motorlord camp? You guys just like going over the set? Like, how's it going with you guys?
Right now, we're working on doing our second album. So when we got the gig finalized, we started saying, all right, you know what? We're going to do a little bit of transition, get a set going, work on that, get that polished up. But right now, we are currently working on our second release.
Sweet.
Right now we got 8 tracks for that, and it's very strong. We'll be playing 4 of those songs this Friday, the 15th.
Oh, great.
So it'll be a great time.
Do you guys get nervous debuting your songs?
No, because when we first started, that's all you had was your songs. So first show, you're debuting the whole set,
Yeah.
But you hone in on them, you know them, they're your babies,
Yeah.
No nervousness on it. Now, back in the day when I was doing covers, sometimes, I hope I can get this because everyone knows what that sounds like, But when you play live, you can rehearse it however you rehearse it. But when you play live, if you mess up or not necessarily mess up, but you change a part or forgot a part, nobody knows the difference, And then from that point forward, well, that's how I'm going to be playing it now because that's how it was kind of released,
Yeah, man, the whole cover band. How do you stand on the cover band versus original band?
Well, I will tell you this. If you want to try to make it on your own identity, then definitely the original thing. Because when you're first going out there, you're playing in front of maybe 1 or 2 people, and they're probably family members, But you got to keep building that up, and it's going to take a lot. If you need to do this as a source of income, doing the covers. Now, for myself, I know when I switched over to playing guitar, I purposely wanted to be in a cover band because that's how you get your chops up.
Yeah,
it's
true.
And I was like, my guys that I'm into played these songs before they made it big. I'm going to learn those songs, You learn a lot that way. But there's no better feeling than winning everyone over with one of your own songs.
True. Good point.
Shouting across the Stanley, Motorlord, we are Motorlord, prepared
Did you get a few of that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure you
get
did
it all the time.
I know
which
I
is
was
awesome.
one of them.
Yeah, you definitely were. Definitely were. You know, it's a great feeling, you know, and we all know a lot of people that are out there and stuff, you know, and they feel a part of that attachment to the band, you know.
Yeah.
You know the lyrics, supporting the band, you know. I know those guys, you know.
Right.
It's a great feeling.
At what point in your music history did you stop wanting to become a rock star, or just like was like, hey, screw it, I'm just doing this for fun? Because I'm sure in the beginning everybody wants to make it, right?
I'll tell you. So I went to school for this,
Okay.
right?
You went to school for this?
Yeah, I went to school for this. So like, yeah, I can read and write and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
Oh,
you went to school for music.
I went to school for music.
Gotcha.
So I happened to be working at the bandstand. It was the RPO, the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra. And Bottom, the band came through.
Jason Bottom.
Jason Bottom.
I remember that.
And the debauchery that was going on. Like, just because it was back in 92, all right? 91, 92,
Yeah.
right?
They had that Be With You song.
All that kind, yeah. But I watched what an asshole he was.
Jason Bottom was an asshole?
Oh, God.
Was he?
Yeah. And to his people, the people around him, high expectations, everything, you know, he's since changed since that. You know, I think someone put him in his place. But, you know, I was like, man, they feel the superiority complex, all that kind of stuff going on. There's a lot of drugs going around. And I know I'm in metal and all that stuff, but I am anti-drugs, you know. Just growing up and having, you know, that being present all the time is like, you know. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to pursue that kind of thing, you know. I don't want to end up dead. I don't want to, you know, it wasn't happy, you know. So I turned everything that I was utilizing and just did things on my own, you know. And it actually worked out really well because I'm in supply chain, which is everything that I had learned doing on the music side, you know. You setting up tours, setting up food, setting catering, all that kind of stuff. You kind of do that on the supply chain. You just change the words around, you know.
Right.
So I made a very good, and still am, making a good living doing that, you know. And that allows me to play what I want to play, when I want to play it. You know, now if someone was to say, "Hey, do you want to get signed and go on tour?" Yes, I will drop everything in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
'cause it's a different world that's out there now.
Yeah,
you know, and I would love to be able to hit the road and road dog it for a while.
Well, I feel that getting signed is a thing in the past now.
It's a different form of sign. So
right, it is. You got to have millions of followers on social media now for you to get.
That's
signed.
that's a different type of thing. But like in the realm that we're in, there's a lot of small and independent labels, and they have distributions, you know. And I think that's more what it would be. So since we did this album ourselves, if we got signed, they would just be distributing it, you know, because we own the masters. And they'll get their cut from distributing it, and we'll get a cut from it, you know? So it's not like, all right, you got signed, we're going to advance you $100K and blah, 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 and then you already start in the hole and owing them first, you know?
Yeah,
this would be a mutual partnership going, you know, right off the bat. And that's what I think today with technology and being out there on your own has changed that playing field, you know? Sometimes you do need to have that sponsor out there because they can get you on better shows. They can get your albums to places that normally can't get reached, you know? I mean, we're doing pretty good on our own. We've got a pretty good following out in Germany and in England because of how we had it released, you know?
But if not for the technology, nobody would even know who you are.
No one would know. You'd have to
Germany.
go knocking door to door as you hit the road, you know? So at least this way, we're out there. And we do have a lot of radio play that's going on, you know? And I'll give a shout out.
Gerbil's been spinning it, too.
Gerbil is a great supporter of us. You've got Genesee Joe and The Drive, great supporters. The folks over at thatmetalstation.com, they've been playing the crap out of us, which is awesome.
Awesome.
You know, great supporters there. Got to meet a few of the folks, you know. How's it going, Vernomatic? And just that we're out there, and their listeners are not just located to just this one area, you know. It's just like you go out there and it's global. You're going to get a person from California, you might get someone from overseas tuning in, picking up, hey, I like these guys, you know. So social media does help out in that aspect. You know, spreads it out further.
It's amazing how much technology has changed the game.
Yeah, you know, but it can also be a detriment, you know.
For sure.
Because then you start following just that. Well, we're not getting likes today, or we're not, you know, getting this type of feed. And you start, instead of focusing on what you should be focusing on, you know what? Just make sure you're sounding the best you can possibly sound, play the best you can play, you know, write the best stuff you can do, and just get it out there.
Yeah.
You know?
Ian saying Metal Marks Audio Aggression.
Yeah, Metal Marks Audio Aggression. You know, you got Dale Chaotic, and you got Sarah's Invasion. All those guys out there promote us, you know, continually, which is awesome. Marco's Metal Madness out in Germany continually playing us and stuff, which is really good.
Amazing.
So we got a lot of love out there.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like the scene's a little bit different in Europe than it is here in the States.
Yeah.
Like right now, I feel the scene is kind of on a low.
Yeah.
Because all this I would say EDM is taking over.
Yeah.
A lot of electronic dance music.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? United States, there's a lot of that. What happens to be the current fad? You know, whatever's in will get the mainstream. You know, but you still have the underliners in the underground still pushing out and keeping it strong. You know, but what I like about in Europe is if you came out and released something, say in '82, and let's say it sold relatively all right and stuff, but you not much, maybe a couple other albums that came out. You go play in Europe, you're still known. You're still playing. You're still sharing the same stage. Yeah. You know, and you can be at a metal fest and you could have been like a light rock band, and they'll accept you there. You know, and that's the difference. You know, if you go way back in time, look at like blues, American blues. You know, and you had a lot of that the black artists not getting enough airplay here. England, they couldn't get enough of them. They all ended up flying over to England, cut new albums over there, you know, playing with the Stones, playing with Clapton, all that stuff, you know. And that resurgence has stayed over in Europe for them, you know.
That's what I like about their festivals over in Europe is you'll see like Slayer and like Seven Dust mixed in with like Journey and like Night Ranger.
Yeah.
You know, those festivals are just such a broad spectrum of the hard rock and heavy metal scene. It's really cool to see. I don't think some of that would fly over here in the United States.
No, you come here, you want to see, I only want to see these three guys, you know, and that's it. And then you just leave, you know, and you don't really show that support. So then you see the promoters, well, I don't want anyone to leave. So if I get 5 bands of this type of genre, they'll stay for the whole thing type thing. And then it kind of like, you don't get turned on to something new and different, you know. You won't see a avant-garde jazz group coming up on stage and then Metallica right after them, you know. And speaking of Metallica, you know, they start doing some left field stuff and their audience feels alienated, you know, or some of them do, or they get some bad press for it, you know.
Critical motherfuckers.
That's what people used to do back in the day, you know. They all have a lot of influences, you know, and they want to just bring it in, you know. Open your mind.
Right,
you know? Take a ride.
The Metallica fans are brutal, though.
They are.
They're
brutal.
Hardcore. Like, if it's not the first 4 albums, I don't want nothing to do with it. But if you sit back and listen to some of the albums after the first 4, you can tell that they progressed and they transformed. And you
can't be stagnant.
Exactly. You know, you're pigeonholing yourself into this one specific genre, right? And you're not really evolving at all.
Right. There's only one band. And I think the majority of people agree. There's only one band that could stay doing the exact same thing over and over. AC/DC.
AC/DC, yeah. Slayer, too.
Well, Slayer, too, for the most part. But AC/DC writes the same record.
Yeah, you're right.
But the
same GCD.
That's it.
It's all GCD and A.
Yeah, but that's their thing. So everyone goes, that's associated with them. Yeah. You know?
Anthrax is another band, too, that has never really gone. They've done some weird covers in their day, probably just to mix it up a little bit. But if you look at their formula, it has stayed the same since 1982. It really has.
But they've branched out a little bit, you know. They did some of that rap and stuff, you know, and they're one of the first bands that, you know, changed it up a little bit, you know.
I agree.
But they also have that New York City hardcore sound. There's a little bit of that punk thing bleeding into what they do, you know. Gave them a little different edge, you know.
When you listen to them, you're like, that's Anthrax. You know that's Anthrax right off the top.
They're one of those bands, just like many of those pre-MTV, that when you got signed and you were promoted by that record company, you had to have your own identifiable sound, you know. You didn't sound like anybody else. Right now, you can't really say that. You know, sometimes a group comes on, and I'm thinking of someone else until I hear their singer. You know, oh, my bad. You know, because that's what happens. They sound a lot alike. You know,
you're right.
There's that resurgence now, and you get who's that band like Greta Van Fleet. You start playing, at first you go, that's Zeppelin. And, oh no, because they sound just like a Zeppelin band. Yeah. You know,
Justin was telling me that kid blew his voice out.
He probably did. Yeah. I mean, if you don't watch the video and just listen to it, you can hear that he is kind of scream singing. You can only do that so long. Yeah. You know?
They're super young, too. What I'm interested in seeing, and I've said this many times on this podcast, but I'm interested in seeing when they develop their own sound. Because they're still kids, dude. They're about 21, 22 years old.
Right.
You know, they were big in high school.
Yeah.
And when they when they grow up and they transform a little bit and they evolve a little bit, they're gonna be a powerhouse. I really see that, and I love seeing the young kids playing music because they're not sitting on their iPads playing EDM music.
Right, they're out there playing and you know, and the blues chops and stuff, and all feel and stuff, which is great. They took off pretty quick when they first came out.
They did.
So they won't experience that. Well, by our third album, this is who we are. In fact, I think the way the industry had changed, you're no longer doing that. Well, you're signed for a 3-album deal. You got the first 3 albums so we can get your sound developed. Usually within a 2-year period, you got your first 3 releases, and now we know who you are. You know.
Is anybody doing full lengths anymore?
Yeah.
Are they? I feel like it's just, well, I mean, on a national level.
No, yeah, there are.
I feel like it's just single after single after single.
Okay, but you're going more towards rock and metal, hard rock and metal. KK's Priest, full length.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With Ripper Owens singing, too.
You know. And the pop side, you know, the singles are going out, you know. EPs, doing 4 songs or whatever and releasing them had been a big craze, you know, the last 5 or 6 years, you know, because the way the social media, they only want 1 or 2 songs,
right?
You know,
everybody doesn't have an attention span anymore.
Yeah, and you know, if you are a established band, which is a business, you're not seeing return on your investment when you put out a full album, you know. So to make money, as you are now, you probably have a board of, you know, officials that help dictate what the band's going to do. They need to see a return on investment, you know.
Great point.
And that's what's going on right now. Now, if you are into vinyl and you do all your releases on vinyls, you'll see a big comeback on that because you have to get the physical platform for that, you know. And you are seeing that. If you see some of the record days that are going out there, you got all these releases that are just coming out on vinyl, or you can stream it, and X amount, you know, and you got to, like, pre-order them, you know. So that's a nice thing, seeing that happen.
Is there any new bands you're listening to right now? Anybody new?
Brand freaking new. You got Salem's Bend.
Okay.
Awesome band. Super Cluster that's out there. I'm huge into Duel. There's a band out Texas way, Duel. They're on tour right now in California.
Duel. What are they about?
Good hard rock, like kind of like early 70s type stuff.
I love that shit.
Know? Anything by like Moss Generators, huge in my world. Tony Reed is huge in that kind of underground movement with that return to that traditional style of hard rock and metal.
Sweet.
You know, but yeah, I can list the entire category of stuff. Most people won't know who I'm talking about, but High Reaper, and they just came up Albany way, well, maybe last year or something like that, you know, before the pandemic hit and all that. They're from Delaware, if I'm not mistaken. But they're out there, you know.
How you getting new music? What platform you use?
Heavy Psych Sounds. That's a record label out in Europe.
Okay.
And when they get something new that they sign on to, they'll put a taste in or a compilation thing out there, and I'll listen to it and stuff. Oh, got to get them, you know. You'll see they're a lot more open to and trying new things. That's I want to say that's out of Italy, northern Italy, you know. And that is a return to that mix-up of Sabbath meets Deep Purple meets Led Zeppelin, all that stuff, you know, but with today's sound, you know, but with today's sound. And they're all young, you know, early 20s doing this stuff, you know, dusted off the attic, found grandma and grandpa's old gear or mom and dad's old gear.
The 1970 Marshall stack.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. They're finding that stuff because you go up and you watch one of their videos, you go, oh my God, how does he have this, you know, and you're paying like $5,000 for one of those, you know, over here on this side, you know. But a lot of really good music out there.
Drop me a link after this podcast. I'd love to do some.
Most definitely.
You go down that rabbit hole sometimes.
I do.
And I want to go down that rabbit hole.
And, you know, if you listen to metal and stuff, thatmetalstation.com.
Okay.
They got broadcasts all week long, you know. Catch any one of their shows, you know. They constantly have a lot of the underground bands coming up there and playing and stuff, or some real deep cuts from older bands and stuff, you know.
I love it.
Bands that you might not know existed, and you're like, wow, I got to listen to them, you know. So there's a lot of it out there. It's just not mainstream.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Mainstream's garbage.
Yeah,
it is. It's garbage.
You know, and you know, and I don't know if you see some of the platforms I'm on. You have these searches from big name artists now attached to these identities or whatever, looking for songwriters that can write, looking for new talent, new angles of stuff. Because right now it's not really out there. You know, yes, you can go out there and you can do something off your phone with a drum beat and a synth, you know,
GarageBand.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're just kind of rehashing stuff that's already in there. And look, granted, there are some great artists that have managed to pop out from that. But plugging a guitar in, jamming with the guys, woodshedding a song, that's where it's at. You know, going extreme left field, like bringing it back. You know, I think we need more of that, and we need it to be out there so people can say, "Oh, yeah, there is exploration in music." You know.
Do you think rock and heavy metal will ever be back in the mainstream?
I think rock and heavy metal will always be where it is, which has been like this. And granted, right here was when MTV tried to catch in on it, so it ballooned it out of proportion.
Right.
But if you were never into MTV, it never affected you. You still always got the same source from the same places. You know, that metal station has been around from the early 90s, so that right there tells you they've been playing the same stuff all the way through, carrying that torch, you know. And the only thing that's going to change is as some of these artists start dying off, you're not going to be getting new material from them that's getting released on the mainstream to bring people in from there and then have them branching down, you know.
Ian's checking in. We're over on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're also live on Twitch, too. So if you are watching on Facebook, if you could do us a favor and click the share button, help spread the word of Motorlord and the 14th Annual Animal Jam. Ian saying Metal Marks Audio Aggression. Is that another platform you guys are on?
That's the show, that we're on. And
They're spinning you a lot of
yeah, and like I said, they do going deep cuts for some bands and bands that you would never have heard of. You know?
Marzo Madness. We already talked about Metal Mark, right? Marzo's Madness?
Marzo's Madness, he's out of Germany. And he does like the classic rock, classic metal, and then he introduces new stuff that's coming in there while you're going. You know, like Nothing Beats. Listen to it, you're right. Keep tuning in. We come in right after, you know.
Amazing, right?
Flows nicely.
Does it make the hair on your arm stand up? You get chills when you hear your song on the internet?
And it's nice also when you're being played on broadcast radio, you know, because they all have the broadcast station out there that we're getting played on in Europe, you know.
Yeah.
Here, well, you've got K-Rock, which is the broadcast, and you've got the Drive. And then, of course, you got the internet stuff. But when you're, like, just getting spun on broadcast stations, that's something else, you know.
Ian's also saying he loved Joey Belladonna and John Bush's singing. I love them both, too, both eras. They picked a great fill-in for Joey when Joey was
They actually did.
I thought John Bush was a home run for sure.
I think when those bands that had to replace singers, they had the best transition.
Yeah, exactly. Because usually it falls short.
It does.
You think about Van Halen, after David Lee Roth, they got Sammy Hagar. In fact, they blew up a little bit more.
Right. And that's a different scenario. Because he was a name artist, so he already had a following.
Right, but after Sammy left, you know, what did you have? Gary Sharon? Come on.
Yeah. But, you know, some
Get
bands
the funk out.
Yeah. Most people don't realize Van Halen 3 was Gary Sharon, you know?
Right. Metal fans love albums. That's true. I feel like they dive into
that's it, because you like the deep cuts, you know?
Yep.
I get turned on to a band because you hear something that's getting played, but I like the other songs that didn't get any play.
Yeah.
You know? You find one that attaches to you, you know, and that everyone else knows, you know, and you build a bond with it, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I'm a huge Thin Lizzy fan. They're my all-time favorite band.
Really?
You know? And granted, when I first got into them, of course, it was Boys Are Back in Town that was airing, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't get much airplay in the States around that time. So I grabbed that Jailbreak album, and the song I hated the most was The Boys Are Back in Town.
And Jailbreak.
Well, I actually like that. It ended up being my favorite song for some reason. Right now. But, like, the rest of that album, like, The Warriors, like, that just really bonded with me. You know, Emerald. It's just how they write the songs and their pieces. And they're one of those bands that couldn't be defined because they were able to play the soft stuff and the real hard stuff, you know, and great musicianship, you know.
Ian's also saying he likes old school, but there's some great new bands out there. What's Motor like practice like? What happens in practice? Are you guys sitting around breaking balls, drinking some pops, just kind of chilling, or is it just strictly business?
Well, you know, we get down there to practice, and we like to record practices, you know, just to see where we're at and how everything sounds and stuff. But there's always that moment that sometimes I step back and I'm like, look at us. We're trying to read stuff in small print, putting glasses. Where's my glasses? Can't see that. All of us are huddled together saying, does this go in here? What's that say?
Dad rock.
Yeah. Well, listen. We get that sometimes at some of the shows. I'll get, especially my daughter's friends and stuff, when they come out, you know, that have been following us, and they bust our chops. Oh, this is Dad Rock. Your dad sneaks on. I'm putting shoes. You know, all that stuff. And I go, that's so funny. You came out to see the Dad Rockers. Yeah. You know, so it's all right. Go right ahead. Yeah, you know, I get a kick out of it. You know. Yeah, we're a little bit older, but that means we know what we're doing. You know, we've done so many different
Your season.
types of shows. We know what it's like when stuff happens on stage. You know how to just keep going. You know, all those little trials and errors and stuff. You know.
Do your kids play music?
They all do. Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah, they all do. They can read it. We have a piano at the house, and you know they all start off on the piano. We've got 2 drum kits at the house, a smaller size drum kit and then a full size for them. And they all play violin, upright bass, and stuff. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
It's smart, though, to start them off on piano at first, because that's the universal instrument.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because you could translate keys
Everything.
to strings.
Yeah. You know, when you take any type of theory class, it's based off the piano keyboard and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, we didn't force them into it. They gravitate to that, you know, by themselves. And I remember doing a show, I'm not going to sports page, or before it was sports page, something like that. We did a benefit show there. And my daughter was on stage right next to, I was playing bass at the time, right next to my amp peg amp, you know. I want to be on stage. Go ahead.
Masucci's saying they'll be at the next animal show. Your kids.
There you go. Yeah. Well, they've been at a couple of them.
Have
you know.
they?
Yeah.
I mean, he means by playing.
Oh, yeah. Very eclectic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's good stuff. Like they can play in tune and write stuff, and they'll write stuff. We have some recordings and stuff. But man, spur of the moment writing stuff as they come up, it's like, wow. You know, that's really good. And then they'll get them walk away like nothing ever took place.
What are your kids listening to these days?
My middle daughter is a Lady Gaga fanatic.
Yeah.
You know, and through her, I get to listen to some of the, you know, what she's done. And she's actually pretty good, you know.
For sure.
She's a very talented person.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter got her teeth cut on Kiss.
Wow.
You know, she's a vinyl person, you know, she's got the collection and stuff, but she listens to everything. And she can actually have conversations with people and go up on them when they start saying you don't know what you're talking about. And she can give you the name of the artist, the site of the album, who produced it, and who wrote the song.
Interesting.
Yeah, you know.
Did she like the Ace Frehley show a couple weeks ago?
She wasn't. She's in Texas.
Oh,
the other 2 went to the show. They loved it.
They loved it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they loved it. And then when Alice came on, my middle daughter, of course, in all black, singing everything and all that stuff. Towards the end, she was off the seat and over by the railing, just, you know,
Rocking
going off
out.
with them. Oh, yeah. Loves that kind of stuff, you know, gets into it.
That's awesome. That's good parenting, Ray.
It is, you know. You got to get them initiated. And well, they both got their teeth cut at a Who concert.
Really?
Yeah. You know, and that right there is rock royalty.
Yeah.
You know, so we went out to when they were touring up in Canandaigua and brought them out there, you know, and spent the day and the night out that way, and that was nice.
How cool is that?
It's awesome.
What'd you think of the Alice Cooper show?
It's awesome. You know, he's got a tight show, great sound,
His band's always
great
rocking.
set. You know, I like the fact, you know, Nina Strauss is a phenomenal guitar player, you know, and I like seeing that, and probably even more so now because I have all girls, you know, show them, look, check this out, you know, you can be doing this too.
Yeah.
You know.
She shreds.
But they lean more towards the artistic side, you know, drawings and all that stuff. But, you know, they're out there and go, look, there's a world out there for you. Go grab it so Daddy can retire.
Yeah. But what a production he puts on, though, huh? I mean,
fantastic.
It's from top
flawless.
to bottom.
It's flawless.
It really is.
You know?
And he's been doing it's been the same formula since the early 70s too, with him.
Yeah.
And I've seen him a few times, and each and every time I've seen him with different bands too, and he's always got top-notch players.
Well, he does, yeah, and it's really
Always.
tight and it's really good. Me, I went there because I'm an Ace fan, huge
Me
Ace
too.
fan, right? And he's got a new band with this go around, you know,
Yep.
really good sound.
Yep.
I like the fact that there was 3 guitar players in both lineups. They had a real nice full sound; you could
Yep.
hear it all. But I'm a huge Face fan. I saw them in Binghamton a couple years back. They had one of those pop-up venues, you know, at one of the old abandoned strip malls type places.
Yeah.
Managed to get right there by his feet. And Richie Scarlett was the co-guitar player with him at the time. And I like Richie Scarlett. He's really good. But they started doing Thin Lizzy's The Emerald, you know, so I was saying, you know, boys that he knows, and, you know, this one's for Phil. I went ape. Playing one of my favorite bands by one of my favorite guitar players, you know. And I just screamed out top of my lungs. I remember it because he's right there. And I go, smoke 'em, Ace, as loud as I could. Richie gave me the worst stare you can ever get because they were doing trade-off solos. And Richie sounded great, and I go smoke. Ace came back, just blew him away. I was like, that's right, that, you know. I was so hoarse that night, screaming top of my lungs.
Was Kiss your first superhero?
In the 70s,
Yeah, they were me.
I would have to say, yeah. I remember the lunchbox and all that. I remember sneaking out to see Kiss on Solid Gold. You know,
Solid Gold.
you know. But the thing was, I was a huge fan. Didn't really know their music. Dynasty was out. when I first got into them because I was getting the most airplay. So I do remember I was made for loving you. But Solid Gold, that's the first time I got to see them. I remember Kids Are People too, first meeting. Ooh, Eric Carr. But in Solid Gold, I watched that, and they do World Dog Heroes. I go, what the hell's this? You know?
Yeah.
Like, that Kiss?
Right.
You know, they only do the one song, you know?
We weren't old enough to be critical of them at that time.
No, you know? And then I had this is the funny part. I had the second coming of being a Kiss fan was when they were without makeup and just coming into my own. And Tears Are Falling was out. And I love that song. Yeah. But for some reason, I couldn't put two and two together of them and the guys with makeup. It took me a long while before I realized that. I think it was probably 89 when I realized, you know, and
Hot in the Shade?
Yeah, or something like that.
It's a great album.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, my God, that's the Kiss I was into growing up, you know? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, now I got to get everything, you know?
They got into the whole glam metal thing for a minute there,
yeah.
right after they took the makeup off. And
yeah, they became women.
They did.
Yeah, there was Phyllis Diller on bass, you know? I was like, it was disgusting, you know? But, you know, Bruce Kulick, phenomenal guitar player, you know? And so I'm glad for that because we wouldn't have gotten him. You know?
His brother Bob, too, wrote a lot of the Paul Stanley solo album, too.
Yeah, he played with Kiss. He did a lot of fill-in spots while Ace was still there in the studio. Mm-hmm. Ace would be in the middle of playing a card game, and
Ace was a mess back then.
Yeah, you know. But, you know, the riff started when they were doing Destroyer. You know, he was late for a session, and the guys were pissed off him, so they got, I think, the one of the guitar players from Alice Cooper, something Wagner, do for Sweet Pain. The solo for that, right? So Ace, thinking his solo, which he had done originally for the demo take or whatever, gets released. Here they are already on tour. He goes, "This isn't me playing it," you know, and the riff starts. You know,
I didn't know that.
But now they did the remaster and they put his back in, and it's like, why didn't you just leave it in?
Yeah.
Band politics.
I heard a podcast with him and Eddie Trunk recently, and they actually mentioned the Utica show that they're going on tour. But anyways, he was saying that he gets along with Gene now.
Well, you know what's funny is, because I follow him, he goes, we've always gotten along. Yeah. You know, media spins it like they're up against each other. He goes, guess what? You see that, and then you're going to go to his show or my show. Yeah. Because now the interest is back up there. He goes, every time Gene's in the New York area, he goes, we go out to dinner. Yeah. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah, you know, you're going to have those type of bonds, you know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you really want to break it down, Paul Stanley is the ringleader of Kiss, you know, and what he says goes, you know. He's even had a rain deletion on Gene a few times, you know. Mm-hmm. But that's just the way it is.
Gene Simmons, a money-making machine, though.
You ever read his book?
No, I should.
You read the book and you understand why. Like before, I used to go, oh, man, that's, you know, it's kind of stupid, whatever he's doing.
Well, he had a hard life growing up.
Very hard life.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure he never had that hard life and take care of his mother throughout the whole time.
His mom was in the concentration camps. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
In Germany.
Yeah. They had bullet holes in the apartments that they were living at, you know, in Israel when they were there originally, you know, and they left from there, you know, started the whole journey.
Wouldn't you love to live in New York City back in the late 60s, early 70s when that whole thing was coming up, like them and the New York Dolls and just like that whole scene going on before CBGBs?
Yeah, yeah. I like that stuff. I love the early 70s New York street sound, I call it, you know? Yep. And it's just raw and it's aggressive and it had a great look to it. And it definitely wasn't your parents' music or scene at that point, you know? I love that New York Dolls album. I have it, and it's a great album.
That whole decade, the whole 70s, too. And then you get into CBGBs with the Ramones and the Talking Heads and Blondie and all that.
There's a biopic on that with the CBG. I don't know if you have ever seen that. I don't know the guy's name per se, but he was the guy that played in the Harry Potter movies. I don't even know what his name is. He's a good actor, is all I know. But he plays the role and stuff, and they do the history of it, CBGBs, because he started off wanting to be a country and western bar.
Right. And that's what it stood for. Like
yeah.
Country bluegrass. Or
country, western, bluegrass or something like that. Yeah.
Something like
that. And he got punk.
Yeah. He got punk, right. He got punk out of it.
Punk.
But the cool thing about Hildy was he wanted to stick to the independent thing.
Yeah.
He didn't want any cover bands at his place.
Yeah.
He wanted original artists.
Yeah. You know, when you really take a deep dive into that, you know, another motivator to that is if you're an establishment and you would know this, and you start getting bands that are playing covers or they're signed, so therefore covers, so there would be publishing stuff. You got to be, you know, aligned with ASCAP or BMI, and you're paying money to someone else. But you bring in these guys doing their own stuff. They have the rights. They walk in. They're allowing your music to be distribute whatever in the venue and stuff, have at it.
It's tough to be a venue owner. Trust me, I know. It's tough just on the aspect of the ASCAP and the BMIs and the CSAC and these music licensing companies because they don't go after the artists. They go after the venues.
Right.
I had to pay like $3,000 a year in ASCAP and music licensing fees. And then you got bigger venues like the Stanleys, even 10 times more.
Yeah. Well, they can't go after the artists because we have no money.
Right.
You know? But like when I do send-outs, and I do a ton of send-outs, and I say at the bottom, you have permission to hear our song, you know?
What licensing company do you guys use?
ASCAP.
You're on ASCAP probably because it's the easiest, right?
They're both good, but ASCAP is set up for the artist side, where BMI is set up more for the industry side.
Yep, you're right.
You know?
Yeah, and now how do you do that? Through the platforms that you're using for distribution?
Yeah. When we first did the distribution, we would use CD Baby, do the initial distribution. We aligned with ASCAP at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and you got to love CD Baby. That's such a good conglomerate of the way to get your music out there because they do a lot of work for you. You know, not only do they print off CDs, but they also put it on Spotify, and Apple, and Amazon, iHeartRadio, and
right, because they have a lot of different platforms that distribute with them and stuff, and that's what got us out there. Deezer was aligned with them, and we noticed that in Europe, that's pretty big to utilize that.
Deezer?
Deezer, you know. It'd be very similar to like an Apple and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Oh, wow.
But it's nice, you know. We worked the other day, and one of the other managers there listening to metal through his little Bluetooth and stuff. You know, I didn't realize he was into metal. And all. So I go, "Oh, you into metal?" I go, "You ever hear of Motorlord?" He goes, "No." He had Spotify on. I go, "Type it us in." Sure enough, boom, pops right up. He goes, "All right." Starts blasting it. You know, but it's nice, those streaming service, because of that. It's right there at their fingertips, you know?
Exactly.
A lot of folks will go, well, how do we get a hold of you? I go, just put us in your search engine. Yeah. I don't even bother saying Google search because everyone has a different search engine. You put us in a search engine, it will show all the platforms. And it will pull the one that you use on your device, you know, and then you can grab us.
Do you guys have a website?
We used to have a website.
Do you feel it's not necessary?
Don't need to. I was paying a nice chunk for it. But with having all these other platforms that have a little page for us and stuff, and then the Facebook that they can go through, and all that stuff is free, it's better that way.
It really is.
You know?
Yeah.
Because if you start making money on any of those platforms, you got to claim that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And most of the stuff was in my name, so I had to do that in the taxes, and, you know, which is a good thing because then it just shows, you know, it exists. Yeah. You know?
So Motorlord is a legal entity.
It is.
You got to be nowadays. Though. Yeah. You have to be just to even get on these platforms.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to, you know, and because there's going to be a lawsuit about something. Mm-hmm. We just happen to look out that nobody else had it.
Right.
You know, I remember being in a band. This was a cover band. It was called Vintage Blue, and all 50s and 60s stuff. And apparently that was a popular name. It must have been like 50 of them, you know, playing vintage stuff, right? So we get this letter from Chicago with a cease and desist letter for using the name. And I remember typing back, I go ahead and sue us when I changed the name, you know, because I knew there was other 50 bands. You'd have to get every band just to stop, you know. But that's what ends up happening, you know, if they're going to try to make that onto the next level, move up with the name, you got to make sure it doesn't exist anywhere else, and you got to buy it out, you know.
Get you by the balls sometimes. But, hey, Motorlord's a better name anyways.
Yeah. Motorlord's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It just flows.
It does, man. It does. You know? And then, especially when I see you from across the room or something like that.
You can scream it out. Yeah.
Motorlord. And you know, it's like.
Yeah.
You got to love that, though. That's got.
I do like it. You know, I do like it. So, like the show, you know, Motorlord, and then I didn't know that there's a couple of guys I knew on the other side of the balcony that screamed it right back to me after you passed because they heard it and they knew it. You know, I was like, there you go.
The domino effect.
Yeah, yeah. My youngest dog goes, Daddy, you're famous.
No, just people know me.
It's infamous.
Infamous.
It's
not
infamy.
famous.
It's not famous. I go, when you're famous, there's a chance of money or something. Like infamous means you're known for something, and it doesn't necessarily have to be good.
Yeah. But I heard Joe Rogan say this. You know, it would suck to be famous but not have any money, right?
You know, it's funny because, like, Kiss used to say that before they cashed in on their name.
Yeah.
Someone asked him about what it feel to be rich and famous. He goes, well, I can tell you what it's like to be famous. Mm-hmm. You know, because they were still living off of the American Express card that was greatly in debt for bill of coin, you know, at the time. There was no money, and they were about ready to fold.
Records?
Yeah, they went under, or were going under. And then Alive 1 came out, and cha-ching, you know, and then things started changing. But, you know, when you're out there, well, this is something that goes back to the first question about doing original music and stuff. If you're young and doing original music and you're on your own, or you got a group of guys or gals with the same mindset, you know you're road dogging it. You're not making any money. You're sleeping in the vehicle that you're traveling with. Or if someone likes you, you're sleeping on the floor at their place. You know, there's no money in it. You know, it takes a lot in order to start bringing in any type of revenue. Yeah. You make more money on merchandising, you know, because someone wants to share, oh, it's $20.
Yeah.
You know, and you guaranteed $20, you know. Oh, you want like a CD? Oh, here you go, it's $20, you know. Hey, we sold like 3 shirts and 2 CDs. We got $100. Good, we're going to eat tonight.
Yeah, we got gas.
You know, because that's where it's at, you know. I know they used to rope people in back in the day because everyone starts off that way. You don't have the money, you know. So when they offer you $50K or whatever as your I don't know, as an advance or whatever, you're going to spend it because you really had no money. So you're buying the gear you need, this and that, but you already you're in debt. And little, you know, oh, it's like 25% interest on it. Yeah. That's got to be paid first. And then everything that label does for you or your manager or whatever gets charged into that, you know? So you never get out of debt.
Never.
You know? So you got to read the contracts. You know? You got to read all that kind of stuff. So if you own the stuff, and how we learned about that in one of the classes was Steve Vai owned his first album, Flexible. You know, he owned everything about it. So when it went out and got re-released, the first week it made $1 million because the money went straight to him. He owned everything on it. You know, no one can get him for that stuff. And we were learning that, you know, where the monies are. And he goes, and if you're not going to plan on going any further and this, that, then it doesn't matter. But if you're really trying to make it, you got to do something that doesn't haunt you later on.
And protect your ass.
You got to protect it, you know, especially if you want to be able to retire out. But if you see these artists that are still going in their 70s, because of all the bills that they start rolling, because it just keeps rolling PO that keeps going. They got to play. They got to pay bills.
You're right.
They got to keep it going. You know, I would love to be able to say, you know, we'll go do a tour, sell multi-million albums or whatever, and be able to not worry about anything, you know?
Yeah, but
I can live off of baloney.
And you have.
Yeah, I have. I have, you know. But I think that's what's pretty cool about this band. We all got pretty decent jobs and stuff, so we were able to take our own money and go in the studio, go ahead and get that out there and stuff, and get stuff out there. You know, we can play gigs without having to charge at the door. You know, we want as many people show up, you know?
Exactly.
$5 at the door, people are like, ah.
That's what
it's free, they come right on in.
That's what pisses me off, though. I mean, it was a $5 cover in the 70s, it was a $5 cover in the 80s, a $5 cover in the 90s, and they're still bitching about a $5 cover. Yeah. Why are you going out then?
Right.
You know there's going to be a cover charge. If you're going to see live music, why are you bitching about a cover charge?
Right.
You're going to have to pay a cover charge to support the freaking band.
Yeah.
So stop bitching about it. Yeah. Stop. You're not going to get anything for free. Nothing in this world is free. Nothing's free. Except for the ADM concert that was in Syracuse this past weekend. But that's another story. But no, it's true, though. These people still bitch about a $5 cover. Stop your bitching. Don't go out. Stay home then. Yeah. Play on your YouTube then. Yeah. If you want to see music, watch it on YouTube.
Yeah. I don't want to get that message out there. I want them to come out.
No, we want them to come out for sure. But it just drives me crazy that, like, because I've been at the door before and people go, $5? I'll pay $5 to get in. Yeah. You know you're going out.
Yeah.
You know you're coming to a place to see music. Yeah. These are your friends playing. You should be fucking supporting them.
Support local. Always support local. You know?
Support your friends.
Always support
Reach
local.
into your pocket, pay the $5, $10, no matter what. So what? Or don't go out. Or get a job. I don't know.
Get a job.
It's ridiculous.
That might help out with the unemployment right now. Go get a job.
Yeah, nobody wants to work right now.
You know, nobody wants to work.
Let's not go down that rabbit
hole. Well, actually, listen, you know, I'll put a little spin on it. It's not so much that nobody wants to work. They want to be their own entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but nobody wants to put
no one wants to put the time into it.
Exactly.
But yeah, easy money.
There's no such thing.
Another social platform.
Work. How about that? Work.
Yeah. Did you just imagine when you're 70s and you're in that assisted care? And you got that person. It probably won't be a cell phone that they're on. No, but while you're sitting there peeing and pooping yourself, they got the hologram there. And it's all stuff
Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope.
Yeah.
I'm excited, though, next week, man. October 15th, 16th, Animal Rise, the 14th annual Animal for Animals Jam to benefit Anita's Stephen Swan Humane Society. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. I didn't know who's Anita. Mitsuchi, we got to get you in here and figure out what, because that changed a little bit. And I think this woman came in and like put a lot of money up to put her name on it. Not only that, but to help Stephen Swan, because during COVID and stuff, they weren't getting any funding whatsoever. But also, I want to make mention too, if you are coming to Animal Jam next week, and if you want to donate supplies, they're always looking for supplies: bleach, toys, treats for the dogs, animal food, any kind of stuff, blankets, pillows, little cushions and stuff. Anything, they'll take it. We'll take it over at 12 North Sports Bar. So come in, show your support. Come in and rock out to a bunch of great music. It's a double whammy. You get great music and you get to support a great cause.
Yeah, it's a great time. Great community event.
It really is, man.
Show some support.
Shout out to Masucci for keeping this going, man. Yeah. Masucci, you're
awesome,
a good man.
Get well.
Yes, get well. So we can see you next week at Animal Jam.
In your size small shirt. We got to make that happen.
Yeah, you got to make him wear it. We want to see his belly outside the shirt.
That's all we want.
He'll be wearing.
Come on, muffin top, let's go.
Be wearing a half motor shirt.
There you go.
Shirt. It'll be a half shirt. I love it though. It exposes belly.
Yeah.
But before we get out of here, plug your social medias and where people can find you online.
All right. So right now you can go on to Facebook, Motorlord at Motorlord. You got Here Now, Motorlord. Just type us in the search engine. We are there. We're on iTunes, Apple, Spotify, Deezer, et cetera, et cetera.
It's a kick-ass album. You guys are on my heavy rotation on my gym playlist. So when I'm out working and stuff, Motorlord comes on, and I'm like cranking that shit.
Lift heavy metal with heavy metal.
Prepare to die.
Yeah.
I love that song, bro. I love it. Shout out to EJA Moving Services, Joey's at 307, Utica Coffee, my attorney Dave Longaretta, Saranac Brewery, Billy the Liquor Guy, Under Too Long. Check that book out on Amazon or wherever you get your books. And also shout out to ballwash.com. Ballsy is the name of the company. Use promo code members only for a 15% discount. Ray, you're a good man. If you got any other shows coming up or anything, a new album coming out, please use my platform.
You definitely know it. Thank you for that continued support.
I love having these conversations with you guys, man. Yeah. So shout out to Ian too and the rest of the Motorlord crew, and shout out to Masucci for keeping the Animal Jam thing going for years and years to come. I feel like we're gonna reach that 100K mark really soon.
Most definitely.
I hope so.
Most definitely.
I hope so. You guys have yourself a good day. I'll see you later.